So I'm going to talk about water transport through plants, through the stem. So first we need to know about the structure of the stem. So mainly stems are used to transport materials between leaves, roots, and flowers by using the xylem and the phloem. So and also stems are used to support aerial parts of the plant. And then when the cell absorbs water and it creates this high pressure inside the stem, and this is called cell turgor. And then so some of these cells would develop like thickened cellulose cell walls, and it will strengthen the stem. And then the cell walls in the xylem tissue are thickened and lignified, and this will also make it even stronger. And then also the xylem provides support, especially in woody stems. So yeah. Okay, so next we need to know about the structure of the xylem vessels. So the xylem is formed by files of dead cells, and they're just formed like end to end, so they're like building blocks. And then there is no plasma membrane that are present in the xylem, so that water can move in and out freely. And also, the cytoplasm of the nucleoli of the original cells that were supposedly living is going to break down, and then this is how the lumen is going to fill with sap. And then the end walls are going to break down, and this will cause it to form like a continuous tube. And then there's also like ring-shaped helical thickenings of the cellulose cell wall, and then that is going to be impregnated with lignin, and it will cause the whole vessel to be hard, and it would resist inward pressure, and then it would not make the xylem to collapse when water is flowing through it. Okay, so transport of the water in the xylem. So first, the pores in the outer cell wall of the xylem would conduct water out of the xylem and into the cell walls of the leaf cells. And also, transpiration stream mainly means that water moves upwards. So you can see the arrow there, the water molecules move upwards. Okay, and then this is actually, because the cells are non-living, so this is a passive process. So all the energy that is needed for this process is from thermal energy, and this is what is causing transpiration. And also, heat provides energy for evaporation of the water from the leaf cells, from the mesophyll cells of the leaf. And also, when the water is replaced with water from the xylem vessels, the water would be transported through the pores, okay, in the spongy mesophyll cells by capillary action. Okay, so and then suction would extend down into through the columns of the xylem vessels and to the roots, and there will be low pressure that's created in the xylem, and when it is pulled out, so that's called transpiration pull. And as the water leaves, it will create tension on the water, so the xylem, and it will cause the xylem to the water and the xylem to move upwards to the direction of water loss from the leaf cells. And then cohesion is important in this process because the hydrogen bonding between these molecules would cause the columns of water to be continuous, and so they would not break down. And then cavitation is when the liquid cannot resist the low pressure that is being created in these vessels, and the columns of water would break down, but that would rarely happen. So that's why we also need adhesion. Adhesion will actually help prevent columns of water from breaking, as water is attracted to the cellulose and other substances on the cell wall. And adhesion is strong enough to suck water out of the xylem and reduce the pressure inside the xylem. And this is especially important, especially when the sap would rise in the xylem vessels of plants when they are leafless. So it will help refill the xylem with water again. And there is also a waxy barrier in the plant roots that prevent molecules in the cell wall from entering the xylem, so it makes the plants more selective to what molecules get entered. And then water can actually move up the xylem vessel at a rate of about 8 meters per hour and reach a height of over 100 meters. So that's pretty cool. And since we're talking about the stem, so I'm going to talk about the transport in phloem too. So the phloem is actually made up of sieve tube cells forming long columns with holes. So these sieve cells are alive, not like the ones in the xylem. And then, but then these cells would be without the nuclei and other organelles because technically they don't really need it. And the phloem contains concentrated solutions of dissolved solutes, which is called sap. And then, so they help transport the sugar and amino acids throughout the plant. Okay, so sugar is actually transported as sucrose because it's more soluble in water. So the process is called active translocation, and it means that we're using energy from ATP to make this happen. So first of all, this process is first loaded in by sources and translocated to sinks. So sources is meaning like stuff like parts where photosynthesis occurs, like the leaves, and sinks are places like the roots and developing seeds and fruits. Okay, so when the organic molecules are loaded into the phloem, they are loaded by H+ or sucrose pumps, or the companion cells, like these cells, and they would draw water from the xylem by osmosis. So the sap volume and pressure would increase, and this would create a mass flow, which would drive the sap along the phloem. And at the sink, the osmosis will occur, which means that the water, the sugar from these, from the whole process will like flow out. So it's like a little transportation system, like how factory trucks are moving in and out. And then the water that's used to transport the molecules would be recycled. And then the contents of the phloem can move up and down, not like the xylem, which can only move upwards. So, yeah.